All right, we're back on the Outdoor Drive podcast. How's it hanging over there, Steve?
Well, it's nice and warm, but it's a little bit wet this afternoon. We got a hell of a thunderstorm
I
rolling
know
through if you can't hear it in the background.
you can kind of hear it. It's actually pretty soothing. It
Yeah.
looks like actually it's getting a little windy out here. We're supposed to get some PM showers and then some AM showers also. So,
Yeah,
but a
well,
good night to podcast.
I love the rain. There's nothing more than I love than a thunderstorm, but the downside to it is the river finally hit conditions that were absolutely perfect.
Oh, that's right.
And for the next 4 or 5 days, we're going to be washed out and muddy again.
Oh, so you're gonna have to wait again. See, that's the nice thing about like up here is like in the muddy, like so if it rains here, then we'll get our viz will go down. Like say like if I was spearfishing, right? And if the viz goes down, then we just wait 2-3 tides and then it will clean it all out. You don't have that.
No. It takes, say this rain will hit tonight, roll through, and I would need 4 or 5 good, clear, warm days before the river is clear again.
Wow.
And
That's
fishing the river when it's muddy it's a trick. You got to know where to cast. You got to know what to do. Really, you're working banks and cover. So it can be a trick, especially floating when you can't get to all the cover. You're just kind of picking a lane and working it.
Mm-hmm.
And sadly, I will admit I'm a little sad that it's raining because it was finally perfect.
Oh, so irritating. But you know what? That's what happens, man. That really sucks. I know it affects all of us outdoorsmen very heavily this time of year when we get the spring rains.
Yeah, but at the same time, the food plots are going to be booming.
Oh, didn't even think of that.
Yep.
Smart thinking.
Food plots will be booming. The deer are getting all the water and extra nutrition they need right now, so horn growth is going to be good. There's nothing worse than drought conditions when they're growing. At the end of the day, I can't complain because it's going to lead to a good fall.
Maybe it'll keep them the rioters and the protesters in with all this rain.
Shit. I don't know. As many fires as being set, it'll evaporate the rain before it hits the ground.
Yeah, true to that. Well, speaking of, on a positive note, we do have a giveaway. We're giving away 2 5-pound bags of any seed deer call for your food plotting. So don't forget to get over to our Instagram and our Facebook over there and enter to win. It's just a simple like, share, and tag 3 friends. So
Right.
Go and check that out on our social media. That's going to end on Monday, right before the podcast on Monday.
Nice.
So I just wanted to get that out there. And also, if you haven't already, please go over to our YouTube page and subscribe to their YouTube, and also a 5-star review on our iTunes. But just got to say it. I know it's getting kind of redundant, but I just wanted to let you know.
No. I greatly appreciate it personally. And for the listeners out there, we really greatly appreciate it because it helps driving this thing forward. And it helps us keep pushing this to bring you new content, fresh content, and get it out there to the world.
And new giveaways.
Yeah.
It seems like every week we're giving something away. I have so many giveaways still.
Yeah. We almost have a backlog of giveaways. So the more you share this, the more shit we can give away.
That's right. So man, what do you got planned for this big weekend coming up? You got a lot of rain coming or what?
Yeah, with the way it's looking right now, I think we're going to have afternoon rains pretty much through the weekend. Go figure. Saturday, it's going to die off earlier. We'll have Saturday afternoon and Sunday to do stuff. Right now, I really think we're just going to spend some time scouting, shooting the bows, making sure cameras are where they need to be. And there's not much else we can really be doing right now. We can get on the river and do a little bit of river work, but it's going to be rough. It's those 4 or 5 fish days. So it's almost disheartening, but a day on the river is not a bad day regardless. So
absolutely,
we'll just have to kind of play it as it comes and see.
Absolutely. And myself, I'm back on the charter boat and I got a charter tomorrow. It looks like I got a double. I got a morning trip, striper trip, and then I got a night striper trip. And then Saturday, Sunday, I'll be on the head boat doing striper trips also. So it looks like my weekend's pretty much busy, and that's what it seems to be for the rest of my life.
Well, let's face it. Getting paid to be out on the water and catch fish, help people catch fish, could be worse.
It could be way worse, man. But I'm really looking forward to the deer season. So once fishing season's over, then we get back into the deer season, and that's what it's all about, man. Hanging cameras and getting ready to do that. That's kind of like my time right now, man. In between trips,
For sure. Well,
so
we've really had a pretty eventful afternoon. You think we ought to let everybody tune in?
You think?
I mean, we could.
Yeah, we're talking to a good friend of ours. Let's get out. Let's get out on that limb.
Well, we can. We'll definitely do that. But first, we need to run through a list of people we got to thank.
All right. First off, a big, huge thanks to the Bow Fishing magazine, Mr. Nick Sampson. He's going to be. He's number one on the list for thanking for the support of the show, and we'll get into that a little bit more. But if you guys haven't checked him out, please go over and check him out. Bowfishingmagazine.com and look at his new bow fishing magazine. You can also find him at Mob Squad Outdoors. Pennsylvania native, huge supporter of the podcast, and he does a lot for us. So just make sure you go over and check him out. Also, Nor'easter Game Calls. Get him in close. Go and check him out. Nor'eastergamecalls.com. Get your custom game calls. Your new Evolution Series grunt tube. All your crazy, who knows what mastermind Mark is doing in the shop with all of his turkey pot calls and all that good stuff that he's got going on. Check him out, nor'eastergamecalls.com. Also, Wild Edge Inc., the leader in mobile hunting. They stay tuned to them. Check them out on all of the social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, so on and so forth. Even their group on Facebook called Saddle Up. They got something really cool, big coming this weekend. Get on their social media and check it out. They're doing a little bit of advertising extras. So make sure and go check them out. Broadside Camo. broadsidecamo.com. Use promo code Outdoor Drive to save yourself some. When you spend a little bit, you get a little bit. So go and check out their Sender Series sweatshirt, the newest Sender Series itself, the Versa Light. He's got a lot with that. What would that be called, Steven? That picture.
Photorealism.
Photorealism. That's what it is. Picture realism. Photorealism. Camouflage.
We know what
Something
you meant.
else. Yeah, it's insane, dude. I'm really excited to get up in the tree and get in that saddle with my Broadside Camo. So go and check them out, broadsidecamo.com. Also, Wicked and Twisted Bowstrings, wickedandtwistedbowstrings.com. Trader Jan's. Go and check them out on their social media platforms, Instagram and Facebook. Also, they're doing a huge giveaway right now. As I had mentioned in the last podcast, for you that haven't heard about it, make sure you go and check them out. Use the promo code Outdoor Drive 10. Save yourself 10% on Wicked and Twisted Bowstrings. She's running the BCY strings and also the Bloodlines. So go and check her out. Death Wish Coffee. DeathWishCoffee.com. Fueled by Death and fueled by Deathcast with Amazing Jeff. If you haven't, go and get yourself some. It is literally crack in a cup. You can get your K-cups, your beans, your grinds, and also your cold brews. So for these warm summer mornings, the cold brews are where they at. Just snap them back like a little, Red Bull can. They're perfect for the go. Especially getting on them morning fishing trips after them long nights. I need myself a cold brew. Go and check out, who am I missing? Oh, huntersite.com. The algorithm, the journal to your hunting season. Now's the time to be logging a lot of that stuff. You can get on there. You can check out and put in all of your pictures and really get that algorithm and that journal going for you. We are actually going to have Bryce Stone on Monday, the 8th. He's scheduled to come on, so you guys can hear a little bit more about that. So, did I forget anybody? Because I always do that.
No, man, I think from my end, I think you got it all pretty well covered.
Good. That's what I like to hear. And if you haven't already, keep on listening because we're about to get out on the limb.
Yes, sir. Well, with that being said, let's roll right into it.
Nice shot. Here comes a shooter. Shooter. Big buck. Stag. All right. Well, welcome back. We got the man, Mr. Matt Garis, on the phone from Out on the Limb. How are you, Matt?
I'm good. How about y'all?
We're doing well, man.
We're hanging in.
Yeah.
Hanging in.
Yeah. It's just nice
How's
to be
yours
back.
hanging?
Yeah.
Well,
That was
you
one
want
of
the
my
details.
slogans.
It'll cost you a little bit.
Yeah, that's one of my slogans on my overhead camera arm. How's yours hanging? I got T-shirts made up.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
I love it. Oh, man. Well, why don't we turn this key, get this thing underway? Why don't you tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and what you do, Matt?
I am Matt Garis. I reside in Enid, Oklahoma, Redneckville. Build tree stands / saddle hunting products 7 days a week.
That's awesome. So, you obviously are the owner and operator of Out on the Limb Manufacturing.
Yes,
How long have you guys been in business doing that, and what kind of stuff do you do? Because you're very innovative when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah, we're on our 6th season from the tree stand aspect. 2nd year in saddle hunting. Have 4 or 5 platforms, 6 different camera arms, 4 different tree stands, for anywhere from lock-ons. I have a patent on some ladder stands as well. I got a patent on a lock-on, patent on the overhead camera arm, and a few other patents pending.
Nice.
And then you just won a huge award this year at the ATA for something also.
Dude, that was so crazy. You know, I've been going to the ATO. That was my 6th year, and we are like, the first year we went there, we thought we were big dogs, right? We get there and we're not even noticed. We just blend in. You didn't even know we had a booth. Well, last year we still just had a 10-foot booth. I've got as high as 20-foot booths there, and they cost you $4,000. It's just money wasted. I've never made a sale at ATA, right? And anyway, this year we're there. We signed up for the new release product. Just thought we would try it with the sticks, with the scars. They did a little video interview the day before the show started. Had us set up in a cabinet up in the hallway. Were you there, Trevor?
Yeah, I was there. Yep.
Yeah, you was there. We set our sticks up in an exhibit deal up in the main hall. And that was on Thursday, and they told us, I thought the competition was on Friday. Well, they did all the judging on Thursday while there was no public. It was all retailers, I guess you'd say.
Right.
I don't think they allowed any media in or anything. Well,
No, not until Friday.
Yeah, Thursday night, evening, it's about quitting time. A lady comes up to me, and she said, "Are you Matt?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "Well, I just want to congratulate you. You won gold award in the new product category." I said, "Excuse me?" She said, you won gold award." I said, "Are you shitting me?" I was just like that, She said, "No, really." I said, "Well, I guess that's what we came here for." It was probably one of the proudest moments in my life.
That's awesome, man.
But I didn't know how to take it. I'd never done anything like that before.
Well, now you have.
Yeah, ATA, yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah, that's a huge deal, especially for someone that's innovative and with their special innovative section and so on and so forth. Like that's a very big deal, and everybody who's anybody in this industry is there.
Yeah, I was even told later, we went to SHOT Show from there, but we weren't in the actual show. We were in a showcase thing on the second floor. But I was told that the Shikars were the talk of the SHOT Show. Which
Really?
I didn't really walk through the SHOT Show, really. But from ATA, it traveled from ATA to the SHOT Show. The gossip did.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. So why don't you take everybody through kind of what the sticks are and kind of like how they work and so on and so forth?
Okay. The Shikar sticks, we have several models. They start 17-inch, 20-inch, 22-inch. We just recently released a 10-inch Shikar, which is mini. It's just a single step. A lot of you guys are using that as a vehicle for their aiders, for one sticky and things like that.
Right.
They're very lightweight. A 17-inch stick weighs 1.5 pounds. They're made of 5/8 solid stock square aluminum, 6061 T6. I've got 3/8 thick steps and 1/2 inch thick standoffs. Our standoffs have kind of got us a lot of notoriety, I guess, just because, you can literally go up to the tree, slam it up against the tree, and it'll stay there. The standoffs are that sharp. I designed the standoffs to where they'll fit from a baseball-sized tree up to as big a tree as you want to get in. So they're very functional in any aspect, be it tree stand hunting or saddle hunting. I've been in a tree the size of a softball where if it's windy, it sits there and waves in the wind.
Yes, sir.
And it's just, they bite really well. And they are double step. Go ahead.
Oh no! I was just gonna say that I've held on to them and with they're different than anything that you've seen out there for sticks.
Yeah, I've been not really accused, but I've been talked to about copying things, and I promise you, I never copy a thing. And these sticks are unlike any stick on the market. You know that. They may fold like some other sticks, but they're not like any other stick out there.
I don't think that there's any stick out there that compares to it as far as how light they are, and the versatility. Not even with the steps, but you also have like a mini platform that you can actually put on top of the sticks.
Correct. Yeah, that's an option. It's the Scout, which from the Scout derived the Solo Scout. I don't know if you've seen it yet.
Yep, I've seen it. Yep.
Have you? Okay. Yeah, we just released it, a month ago? Mm-hmm. But it's been a very, very good seller.
I haven't seen it in person, but I did see it, over social media and stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of videos out on it.
Yeah, that was one thing that you didn't have at Iowa when we were casing your joint, running through everything. Right. And I'm a big fan of the Scout personally. I like the concept behind it, especially for a guy who moves a lot, bounces through the woods. Instead of carrying an additional platform, it's already right there on the stick. As long as you remember to put that as your top stick, you're good to go.
Right.
Yeah, and it was really cool. And like you were talking about, the standoff and the way you had all that set up, it's unique in a way that it really doesn't matter what kind of tree you got on, like you alluded to. You can literally set this up, and no matter what, you have room to step. Your foot's not in the tree. Your toes aren't touching the tree as you're trying to get on. Regardless of the size, you've got room. That's one thing I really liked.
Yeah, I have noticed that on some other sticks that I've seen coming out on the market. They're very tight to the tree. They stack great, but they're very tight to the tree. And that's what I've got a lot of buddies that are 300 and 400 pounds, and they want some foot room. And that's kind of, kept them in mind when we designed the stick.
I think it was a brilliant move. That's one thing that I really nitpick on with sticks. When you put them on a tree and you go to step on, is the tree kicking me back off the stick or not?
Yeah, you got to point your toes out, and that's never good, especially
Right.
when you're using aiders, because you want to dig your toe into the tree. So your mind, if you're climbing sticks, your mind already telling your foot to point out. Well, when you go to take the next one with the aider, and you put your foot sideways, you're liable to kick out the aider.
For sure. Well, that, and then for those who like to go, ninja style, when you step up on one that's right up against a tree and your toes scraping down the bark, you're creating that much more noise as you go up.
True.
With yours, that's really not an issue because you got all the room in the world.
Yeah, I've had some big guys with like size 16 feet, say there's not quite enough room, but what do you do? I've had guys ask me to build longer standoffs. Well, I'm pushing the limit for the hardware. I mean, we use all grade 8 hardware, but if you don't set that stick right, you can take a chance of bending a standoff, especially with am steel. When they use the daisy chains and stuff, the standoffs bite so well. So if you try to pull the stick down with both standoffs touching, they actually bite before the rope ever gets tight.
Right.
And then when you step your weight up on it, it puts too much pressure on the standoff instead of the rope. So I'm a fan of I use the mini straps that we sell and tie it like a rope mod. If you just remember to pull out on that bottom standoff and slide it down, I haven't had any problems, but I have had a couple guys bend bolts, and they tell me it's their fault. They realize what they done after they did it, but it's just a matter of the standoff biting so well.
And that's a good safety thing.
I was going to say, that's not a problem.
No, that sounds like a solution.
I mean, 9 times out of 10, when you take your rope mod off, the stick stays on the tree. You don't got to catch it, when you're climbing down. You basically got to pull it off the tree.
Right. Yeah, now
I can't believe just how light they are, though. If you do 4 sticks, so 4 sticks would probably, what would you say, Matt? That would get you how high in the tree, probably?
I use Mike Isbell's Versa Aider, and I can get 20 foot with 4 sticks pretty easy.
Wow.
Without stretching real hard. Now, I can get higher than that if I stretch out.
Right. And the way you have them built to stack, it's actually a light load going in. You can pretty much get anywhere, and you really don't notice the weight. Because let's face it, those guys that sit there and say they're counting ounces are full of shit.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, either the setup fits and carries comfortably or it doesn't. And yours, the way it stacks, you can pretty much lay that onto almost any setup, and it's not going to make a difference.
Right. Yeah, you're 6 pounds carrying 4 17s, and I try to push the 17s personally. I get a lot of people that order 20s. 20s are our second best seller. 22s, we sell some, but probably 8 to 1 17s versus 22s, and probably 5 to 1 17s versus 20s.
I can believe that. After getting hands-on with them and playing with them on the pole there at your booth there in Iowa, just really settled in how much versatility you could put that to. Yeah. Some of the spots that I hunt, and just picturing trees I've gone up, I've literally looked at them and gone, man, that would have been useful. Because you can set it on those sections of trees that are warped or twisted and still get that fit, because you're not dealing with, a 22 to 28 inch stick that it's like, crap, now I got to twist this thing and it's hanging off the freaking branch. So
I'll tell you another thing. The Solo Scout that we just released, it's 10 inches wide. I've seen 3 different people using a multi-step aider, and they tie it on the sides of the Solo, so it's like climbing a ladder. And that's their method of getting up in the. They're using their platform as a climbing device, as a vehicle for their aiders, and that's all they're climbing with. I don't know if you've seen that video or not. I don't even know the kid's name. I've never seen him before.
No, I've never seen that video. That's insane. That doesn't even. So he's literally that's how he's getting up the tree. That's his vehicle.
That's all he carries in, and that Solo weighs 1.5 pounds, and it's an am steel aider, so it doesn't weigh anything. I think it's a 3 or 4 step aider. He reaches up and puts the Scout Solo on the tree as high as he can reach, and he just climbs it like a ladder, hooks his tether up, leans back, raises it up. He's 4 moves. He was probably 20 feet.
Wow.
And it didn't look like he was working real hard. You know, single sticking it's a little bit of work, it looks to me. I've never done it personally, but I've watched it. But this was, I mean, you had to work to set it just a little bit, but it wasn't like you were fighting it like you do with the one stick method.
Wow, that's crazy. I'm gonna have to check that out. That's definitely something really cool. Not for me, the bigger guy, but it's definitely something to definitely look at.
Yeah, for if you're you know, going way back in there and you want the weight you carry out to be animal, you might as well, you know, carry 1.5 pounds in versus 10.
For
By the time you get your sticks and your platform, you're 10 pounds, even with the light stuff. 4 of my sticks are 6 pounds, and a Ridge Runner's just under 4. It's 3.5. So, you know, you're at 10 pounds right there.
Wow. Yeah, and that's wicked light. That's insanely light. I mean, not to knock on any of the other brands, but a lot of them it's heavy, man. I've ran a couple different other sticks, and they're just it's a lot of work. They're big. They're hard to strap to the backpack, especially if you're hiking far. Anything over probably a quarter mile, eighth of a mile, it gets a little bit too much. It gets a little bit ridiculous carrying some full-size sticks in there, and they're heavy, and you have them strapped to your backpack, and they're pulling against you. So it's almost too much.
My biggest thing with the longer sticks, and the reason why I was really drawn to these, is when you're going through, say, mountain laurel or, you know, some switchgrass or something like that, trying to get to where you're going, those longer sticks tend to have a way of hanging up on pretty much everything you walk by. Mm-hmm. Whereas these, you know, they're going to be the same size as your backpack or your whatever you're carrying in, and they're not going to hang up.
Yeah, a lot of the Batwing backpacks, you can actually keep them tucked in.
Exactly.
And so you started talking about the Ridge Runner. Why don't you go through some of your platforms and the platforms that you make?
Okay, we started out with the Podium. Actually, we started out with the Beaver Tail, which you like.
Yes.
Bring it back. Bring it back.
Hey, I've got a new. I was talking to Andrew Walter.
Yep.
A month or so ago, and he had a heck of an idea. And the Beaver Tail is coming back, but it's going to be a little different.
Okay.
I love it.
But the Beaver Tail was first, then the Podium, which we still sell a lot of Podium. I built 12 of them last week. Podium's 3 pounds, 16 by 9 platform, to where the Ridge Runner's 3.5 pounds at 16 by 8 inch or 8 1/4 platform. Same basic size, just the Ridge Runner is a little more beefed up. It'll take more weight. We actually pool tested it consecutively to 800 pounds, to where we just did the Podium at 600. And I've destroy tested some too. And if you put 800 on the Podium, you'd probably bend it.
Either way, Trev, you're safe.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you're safe. We've been kicking around an XL. I know some of you've seen my dog platform.
Yep.
Actually rebuilt that and sold it to Jared Puglia. I call him Puget, but I'm not real sure how to pronounce his name, honestly. But he's a very good follower of ours. In fact, we made him an ambassador yesterday or day before.
Congrats to him.
He really works hard at promoting our products, even though, I mean, he's bought everything he's got. Jared's one of them guys that traveled from Pennsylvania to Oklahoma before New Year's. He called me and asked me if I'd go in Partners on a stand. I thought, man, I can't do that. I've been down that road. But if you want to stand and you want to make the trip, I'll take time out of my schedule and we'll build you a custom stand. He said, really? I said, yeah. So him and his girlfriend, wife, I'm not sure if they're married or not, but drove all the way from Pennsylvania to Oklahoma, spent 3 days, 3 hard days, because the stand he wanted, it was almost impossible to build, but we finally did it. But ever since then, he's just followed us. I mean, he has a little bit of everything that we make.
Is he the same one that you were working on that stand right before ATA with?
Yeah, dude.
Okay. I do recall
I was
that.
needing to be working on my ATA stuff, but I told him, you make the trip, I'll make the time. So we worked. He showed up on a Saturday. Worked Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. We worked past midnight Monday. And I think that New Year's Eve or something. Maybe it was real close to New Year's. It might have been the day after New Year's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember talking to you on the phone about ATA, and you were working on that stand.
Yeah, but he still uses that. He loves that stand.
That's
I don't know
awesome.
if he loves it as much as he does the dog platform. I sent him a new bracket. I've had so many people wanting that XL stand, but I don't feel safe putting a 280, 340 pound guy on something that far away from the tree without cables.
Right.
I know it'll test it. I know the Ridge Runner will test 800, and I put 600 on the dog platform before I sent it to him. But it tests that strap so hard. I mean, you're just using a 1,500 pound pull strap or am steel, whatever they use. But I sent him with a pull strap. Well, I made a bracket 2 inches longer and sent it to him, and he actually got it day before yesterday and called me and said, "Dude, that fixed it. Doesn't pull away from the tree anymore." Because I took a third of the weight off the strap just by adding that 2 inches and just gained ounces.
Now, the strapping mechanism on your platforms is totally different than anybody else.
It's different camming system, yes.
Right. And why don't you explain that a little bit? Because that was kind of what sold me when I was using the beaver tail and seeing the other platforms, because the way that the cams over is like it locks it right in, man. And I was nervous, like when I got handed the beaver tail, I'm like, yeah, right. No way, dude. No way. I said, I'm touching. I'm 350. I was 270 at the time, almost 300 pounds. And
with gear,
I'm like,
you probably were.
Yeah, probably. And I get nervous about being on different platforms and different things. That's really why I saddle hunt a ton. And then seeing that camming system and how it locked in and how solid they were to the tree, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, the beaver tail was actually a ratchet strap, if I remember right. But it had the same bracket, but it was, I think it ratchet. It might not have. I don't remember.
This one had like a sliding ratchet, not a ratchet strap, but just a sliding strap on it. I don't know if
a pull through.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think before I shipped it to Garrett, I changed it like the podium.
Okay.
Because when I had it at ATA, it was just put on with the ratchet strap, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
The first ATA. Yeah.
So when Garrett had gave it to me to use, it had the pull strap on it.
Yeah, probably had the cam system on it.
Yep.
I forgot about that.
And it locked right in. I couldn't believe it. And I was bouncing around it. I was side to side. Like I really got really comfortable on it. And I would imagine that, obviously the podium and the Ridge Runner are one and the same.
When you guys go out and hunt rut, are you all day sitters or hunters?
I do on occasion. So if the situation's right, yeah, I'll sit all day.
Yeah, I sit all day.
The new beaver tail will change your all-day sit so much in a saddle, it's not even gonna be funny.
Really?
I can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, it's a concept no one's even thought about in saddle hunting. So that's really all I can say about it.
Of course,
that's fine.
But once I get it, and when I show it, people are just gonna like, why didn't I think of that? It's that simple, but it's so relaxing is all I can really say about it.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it, to be honest with you. I think I got a good idea.
So every time we've compared platforms, Trev goes, I like this one, I like this one, I like this one, but nothing compares to that original beaver tail. And I never got to get on it, so I'm interested to see how this comes out.
That is a one of a kind. That beaver tail, that's the only one ever made.
And I'll tell you, with the beaver tail, man, that thing slips right into the backpack. It fits in the backpack. Like, there's no strapping it to nothing. There's no, you don't no worries of anything. You literally can put it right inside of your backpack and go. So you figure with your sticks, and with the beaver tail, I mean, you're 10 pounds and everything is concealed inside your backpack. For us that hike up these mountains through this thick, through the thick mountain laurels and the CRPs and all this other stuff, it's a game changer.
I haven't shown it to the public yet, but I had a guy send me an ambush a couple of weeks, about a month ago, actually. I just finished it yesterday. Well, I'm not even finished with it yet, but I got it built yesterday. But he likes my camming system, but he liked that ambush platform. But I don't know if you saw that one video going around where you step towards the backside of the ambush and it'll fold up on you.
Oh, no, I haven't.
We took all that out. I need to get it powder coated tomorrow. Matter of fact, and get it sent to the guy. I told him I'm going to send it to him, let him see what he thinks before I even charge him for it.
Right.
But, I put the same bracket that I sent Jared for his dog platform. But it had to change it a little bit, to adapt it to that ambush platform. But I think the guy's going to really like it.
And that's one thing with you, man. You just stay innovative, and you're constantly changing stuff. I mean, even as far as going along with your camera arms, I know with them, you're constantly changing. Like, you changed the standoffs that go onto the tree from 3 to 4.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that was a pretty unique upgrade. And I really, as soon as you see it and you compare it, it made sense.
What was that on the mount for the reach?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That new one works a lot. It's a couple ounces heavier, but not enough the gain you get is worth the weight you gained. I got a new arm I'm working on.
Why don't you go into and name off and tell a little bit about each camera arm, because you have a bunch of them, and I know that there's a lot of people that are self filming, and they probably really want to know about these things.
Okay, yeah, probably our least expensive arm is the CA1. It's a 2-jointed 1.25 inch square tube arm, fairly stout. It's nothing like our CA2, but for an introductory arm, it's a great arm. It's not heavy. It's all aluminum. I don't know the weights offhand. Mm-hmm. All of our arms work with our standard camera bracket, so you can interchange things out. If you buy 2 different arms, you have the same mount of work on both of them, so you could leave mounts in trees, take whatever arm you're comfortable with. I personally like the 360 for self-filming, but it just doesn't work real well out of a saddle. Now, I did recently build a mini 360 that I sent to a guy to test, Brett Pinkley, I believe, and he is loving it, because the thing about the Zeros, they have absolutely no bounce. I mean, none. You can't make it bounce. So when I designed the 360, that's what it was for professional videographers. But it's just so hard to get people to change their mindset. They've been using muddy arms so long. Fourth Arrow is a great arm, but it has some bounce, quite a bit of bounce on any of them. That's one thing I liked about my CA2 and CA3s. They were good heavy-duty arms, lightweight, but had little to zero bounce. You could run the FS7s, the big-bodied, full-bodied cameras on them without a problem. Well, then last year when we stepped into the saddle world, I'd met Garrett at Pennsylvania a couple years previous when I came out with the 360. And Garrett's always been a very good advocate of ours. We just kind of clicked. Well, when we were at Iowa last year, or 2 years ago, when I introduced the Perch to Drew, and that's where that relationship began, I had the Mini 360 with me, but it really wasn't working right. It was a prototype. And Garrett just told me, you ought to come up with a little arm. So I said, well, let me go to the shop and I'll build what I have in mind, and then we'll put our heads together and see what we come up with. So that's where the reach came from. I built it. We done some tweaks that Garrett wanted to see in them. the little 3-legged mount was our biggest hardship, I guess you'd say, that people didn't really like. I got it to work fine, but when you design it, you know all the tricks to them. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So we had to kind of make it a little more foolproof. So I did the C channel this year. We've sold a few replacements, but all the new arms come with the C channel brace, and it's just a little more solid. You will get some bounce with the larger camera fully extended, but when it's used the way it was designed for saddle hunting, you don't really get any bounce at all. If you're using a tree stand to where you got to stretch it out, you'll get a little bounce. So that's the CA1, CA2, CA3, 0360, the Mini 360, the Reach. And we also have a backpack unit for the 360s. It's where you can run your camera arm on your back.
Wow. That's cool.
That's wild.
Man.
And dudes, what's the crazy part about all this? My company consists of 2 people, myself and Chase. I do 90% of the welding. I just hired a welder a couple weeks ago. He's been coming in the evenings. He's one of our ambassadors. So that's taken a lot of load off me. So I do farm out the Ridge Runner platform itself. It's my design, and I got a company in Texas that cuts the pieces and welds them together for us. And then we assemble them and build the brackets and powder coat the brackets at our shop. Everything else we pretty much build in-house, other than the machine work. We farm our machine work out. Yeah, and my hands touch probably every single product that goes out.
And you're constantly working and building and innovating and coming out with new things. And
do you guys follow our dailies any?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean that's every day. I mean, I try to. I know it's boring for a lot of people, but sometimes I'll just turn the camera on while I'm working, and try to listen or read the comments and stuff as I go. But it slows my work, and it makes me. It causes a few mistakes every now and then. I forget to put a nut on a Shikar stick or something. You believe I had a guy from New York? They're quarter 20 standard grade 8 lock nuts. You can buy at Ace Hardware. And I left 2 of them off on his sticks, and I had to send him lock nuts. It costs more for the damn stamp than the nuts cost.
Yeah.
And take 3 or 4 days to get there.
Well, enough with the business side of everything. Why don't we get into a little bit more about you, Matt, and let everyone kind of know what the hell's going on with you, man. So you not only are the innovative saddle hunting, with the arms and the platforms and all this good stuff that everyone should obviously go and check out, but you also did really well in the North American Whitetail Challenge.
Yes, actually, I won my region this year. I've entered it for 2 years. Last year, I didn't shoot anything. This year, I actually shot a very nice buck in October. Called to turn it in, and then I'm thinking to myself, I just got this new property, and you've heard about it. Mm-hmm. And I called the North American Whitetail Championship, and I said, I'm going to decline turning this one in, and I'm going to take a gamble on getting something bigger. Well, then end of December, I ended up shooting that big one, which I only won by an inch, though. According to I had 7 inches on them when we turned in our own score, but when we had them officially scored, his grew and mine shrunk. I don't know how that happened.
Well, an inch makes a big difference.
Yeah, you see the pictures of them side by side, you're like, how in the hell? But anyway, it was an inch difference, but I ended up winning the Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas region, which puts me in the championship in Kansas in September, a black powder hunt for $50,000.
That's going to be awesome.
So I think that's like a 1 in 16 chance.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So why don't you take us kind of through like what it takes to be in the Whitetail Challenge, and then kind of like what happened on that hunt?
Well, basically, Chase is the one that told me about it last year. Said, hey, we ought to join this. So I joined it. He didn't really want to. He didn't really have the money. I think it's $300 or $400 to join it, but you get that much equipment. So if you need equipment anyway, it's not really an investment. You know what I mean? But you got to abide by your state's rules. In fact, I had that deer that I won with come out 2 nights prior at 5:01, and legal light was 5. It was a full moon. I could see it just fine, but I knew I was filming the hunt, so all I could do was watch it.
Right.
And then 2 days later, he decides to come out 30 minutes early, so he got capped.
There you go.
You have because they give you a tactic cam with your entry, and you have to actually get the whole entire hunt on film.
Yeah, that's another thing. When you get to your hunting property, you're supposed to interview yourself. Once you get in the tree, you're supposed to interview yourself and video your surroundings. A shot of what you can see. You have to have the shot on film. You have to have the recovery on film, and then you have to have the measuring on film. That's all got to be done with the tactic cam, which the first one, as a matter of fact, I run a video camera and the tactic cam. Well, I didn't know how to operate the tactic cam, evidently. The first deer I shot, I didn't have it on tactic cam, but I had it on video camera, so they were going to allow it. But I've kind of felt bad anyway on that deal because it really wasn't going exactly by the rules. It was on film, but it wasn't on their tactic cam. So
right.
I'm kind of glad that could have got me DQ'd. I don't know. So the second time I had it on both video camera, tactic cam, the whole works.
And what did that deer end up scoring?
168.
Oh, is that all?
That's it. Only one.
I knew I had a 200-inch deer, but I didn't.
160 plus inch buck out here. Shit, we'd all fall over. Be ready for that.
Yeah, and don't let Matt trick you. He takes some very, very good deer.
So you would say he's accomplished.
He's very accomplished.
I try to take something larger each time. This one's going to be hard to beat. It can be beat. I mean, because it's not 200 inch. My goal is a 200-inch deer with a bow. That's a 100% bow hunt. I haven't picked up a rifle in probably 20 years. I just don't care to. I want to shoot it. I ought to try to, longbow or recurve or something because, that's how much I love it. But I've never had the opportunity to shoot those bows. I've always had a compound. So
awesome.
Wow. That's awesome, man. I'm really looking forward to hear about, the whitetail challenge when you go and you do it, the muzzleloader hunt. It's Kansas, right?
Yeah, because I don't even know if I can shoot a damn gun.
You're gonna have to get lessons up front. How do I work this thing?
My attic, and it's stupid because I don't think you were supposed to keep guns in the attic, but all my guns are laying in my attic, covered with dust. I used to have them covered up with a blanket, but it's got moved over the years. It's literally been in the attic for 20 years. I got a pistol in my truck, but if you ask me to get it right now, I don't know where it's at. It's in here somewhere.
Well, like you were telling me, you had a brand new muzzleloader and you've never even fired it.
Yeah, I won it at a Friends of NRA banquet. It's a stainless steel Thompson Center Pro Hunter, got the exchangeable barrels and stuff, got a bullet drop compensating camouflage scope on it. I fired it. I shot a doe with it that year is all it's been shot.
Crazy.
That's awesome. That's nuts.
I shot that doe at 200 yards.
Oh, wow. With the muzzleloader. Wow,
that's an impressive shot.
It's a badass gun.
That's awesome. Now, you were telling us before we had gone live here that you're a man of many trades, and you do something really cool that we've never talked about before.
Does a little bit of hand fishing, right?
Oh yeah, noodling is probably my favorite pastime.
So much so that you even, and I'll mark this down, you actually almost prefer this over whitetail.
Yes, I do. I mean, it's such an adrenaline rush.
I bet.
Well, we had a fish. I did it live Sunday. We were literally on that fish for over an hour. He was just too far out of range, couldn't reach him. And you're really not even supposed to use a stick, I don't think. You definitely can't use a hook. But, we try to irritate him with the stick because they weren't really aggressive yet. And finally, after an hour, I finally got him close enough to the hole where I could get a hold of him. Well, it ended up being a blue cat, which are a little harder to get anyway because their mouth structure is so much different. But we ended up getting 2 blues out of that one hole.
Wow.
Got the first one on video. It's on live, but I caught so much hell because I'm not. What's that gal's name? Something Barron.
Hannah.
Good old Hannah.
Barron. Yeah. I didn't look as good as Hannah Barron, so I was catching hell, and my fish wasn't as big as hers. So.
Well, she's also having a killer season.
Yeah.
If y'all's making fun of me, I'm just gonna shut it off.
No, we want to see it. Keep it going, Matt. So what does it like entail? Like, what do you do? Like, I don't know. I've never done such a thing.
Where we were at was a little city lake called Perry Lake, Perry, Oklahoma. And it's got a lot of natural rock formations in it. And they're hollow underneath. A lot of them's hollow underneath. They're like big slab rocks. Well, the fish get in there and they, with their tails, they fan all that out to where it's good and clean. And when it's time because you stick your hand back in the hole and it's not muddy. It's clean. So
Okay.
there's been fish in the hole at least. Well, that slab might be 8 foot long. So you can't, my arm's roughly 2.5 foot long. I'd say it's all scarred up because I was reaching in that deep just to touch him. And when they're not aggressive or not on eggs, they don't care about you. I mean, they just swim away. So you got to prod them a little bit and get them agitated. And they'll take a blue cat will hit you like 3 times in a row. Just bam, bam, bam. Like when you see the tip of your rod, that's how they hit your hand. It's just three big hits. The flathead, he'll normally come out and just hit you once and back up. But I've been hit so hard by a blue cat that it actually jam your finger just like when you play basketball.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I've actually almost got a black eye from being too far up in the hole and the fish trying to come out. Because they're just like any other animal. When you corner them, they try to run.
Oh yeah.
And they come right for you.
Just imagine going home and trying to tell the old lady that you got your ass kicked by a blue cat.
Yeah. Yes, I've come home so cut up. I mean, because we like creeks better than lakes and rivers. To me, we just have better luck. But man, there's so much debris and car bodies and you name it, it's in some of these creeks around here. Farmers just shove that stuff off, keep the banks from washing out.
Exactly.
And it's all rusted up, cut. I mean, I've been lanced open. Probably the worst I've ever been lanced open was by zebra mussels, though. Remember
They are
those?
the worst.
Dude, you stick your arm up in the hole and there's zebra mussels stuck to the ceiling, it will rip you up. Especially if you get hit by a fish, because your first reaction, especially new, when a fish bites you is to pull out. And that's the worst thing you can do. It doesn't hurt. It just scares you. You just reach in there and let them hit you.
And then when he hits you, you just grab a hold of him, or?
Well, no, they'll hit you a couple times, and then you'll go in there. A flathead, they got kind of an underbite, you might say. Their bottom lip sticks out farther than their top. So you just rub on their teeth on the bottom, and they'll open their mouth. They think it's a fish swimming against them, I guess. And just grab on. The thing about a catfish, when their eyes break water, when they come out of the water,
that's when the fight's on.
Oh yeah, the first big fish I caught was my first year noodling. I caught a 42-pound flathead.
Jeez.
We go to this place. It's called Marshall Falls is the name of it. It's a man-made waterfall. It's where the city of Marshall used to get their water back in the old days. They don't anymore. So the waterfall goes into this big old basin. It's beautiful. It's my favorite place to go noodling. It's all Volkswagen side boulder rocks. Every year those rocks seem to move because the water rushes through there so much when it gets up. Well, no one's supposed to be on this property. It's a buddy of mine. I'm the only person that can hunt his properties. That's used to be the only place I hunted was his properties. Anyway, we go in the back way. Well, we get back there to the falls, and there's these 2 guys sitting in lawn chairs. And I said, I don't know about you guys, but I got permission to be here, and I'm fixing to fuck your fishing up because I'm getting in the water. And they just look at me and say, they ain't biting anyway. So this is no bullshit. I go right underneath where they got their lines hanging, swim up underneath this rock ledge, and I come out with a 42-pound flathead. These guys' eyes got so big, they they got there on boat. They came down the creek on a boat, so they got in their boat and left. But this fish, this is when I knew when their eyes break water, they go crazy. But I'm bringing him out. I got a buddy named Chuck. He's 6'5", 300 pounds, big burly guy. And the water was over my head where I was at. Well, I'm fighting him. I got my head above water. I said, Chuck, pull me out because I'm gonna wrap my legs around him. So I wrap my legs around my fish. I got both hands. He's already sprung one of my wrists. And I just go to the bottom and wait. Chuck grabs my shoulders, pulls me out. You know, it's 42-pound flathead pissed off. It's a pretty good fight. But that was my biggest fish. I've caught two or three 40-some pounders. Most of the fish we catch around here are 20s, sometimes a 30. The ones we caught last weekend were like 12 to 15.
And so what do you do with them when you get them? Are they good eating? Like,
flathead is probably next to walleye.
Oh,
in my book.
Whoa!
To me, it's crappie, walleye, flathead. Blue cat, I give those away. I'll fillet them up and just give them to friends. I mean, because it's good eating, but flathead is white, fluffy meat. I mean,
okay,
it's snow white meat. You cut the main vein out. The belly on a flathead, which you don't find on blue cats or channel cats. I mean, it'll be a 1.25 inches thick, 8-inch diameter steak if you cut it out right. It's just a big old flat piece of white meat.
So, Trev, in comparison, a blue cat is kind of like a striped bass in your world.
Oh, striped trash.
Yes.
There you go.
Blue cats are not the top of the list. You get them, they're cool, they're fun, they're a good fight, but it's not what you want to go to if you're trying to have a gourmet meal.
I get what you're saying. I mean, with the striped bass, they're everywhere. Everyone eats them. They say they're the greatest, but there's way better fish out there.
Oh, yeah. But the difference between a white cat and a blue cat will eat anything. They'll eat dead shit.
Literally.
A flathead will only eat live bait. They'll eat live perch, live crawdads. I mean, that's their diet. They eat live. So naturally, their meat's going to be better.
Right. Yeah, because they're not eating dead, decaying things. It's what they're taking in. Right. So in comparison, that white meat is like a bled out walleye. Then you're saying, and with that white meat.
Yeah, walleye's probably better eaten.
Okay.
But flathead, if you ever get a chance to eat flathead, just cut it all. You'll get a little bit of red meat. I skin them before I fillet them. Mm-hmm. And you'll get a little bit of red meat down the center, and I just cut on both sides of that and just leave it out. I mean, the flathead's big enough you don't got to really worry about wasting meat.
Yeah.
And just trim it all down to where you just have white meat, and it is some of the best, flakiest fish you'll ever eat.
That's awesome. Well, I look forward to it, and I look forward to coming down to Noodling and eating it down there.
Yeah, for sure.
You got to come this time of year. I mean, in fact, I just now got a text from a guy. He asked me if I got enough work done because it's going to be beautiful tomorrow, which I actually did. I don't think I can ship anything else tomorrow. I need to go to Ponca City to the machine shop tomorrow, but I'm going to do that before noon.
So then you're going to head out noodling.
So what I'm hearing is next spring around this time, we need to plan a trip where we come out and film Trev trying to catch one of these things with his hands.
Yep.
That's what I heard.
I've had so many people. You know Jason Bisbee, right?
Yep.
Jason and Brandon Troncoso, they had a Arrow TV a few years ago.
Yep.
Well, actually, they did an episode of it. It was on TV. Oklahoma Noodling. They came down and we took them all over the place. I got one little honey hole. I mean, if you drove by it on the side of the road, you wouldn't even stop and throw a line in it. It just looks like a hole on the side of the road. It's a low water crossing, and it goes into the Salt Fork River. But it's 7 foot deep at the deepest, probably. We have pulled so many fish out of there. In fact, the first time they came down, we caught nothing anywhere we went. We just weren't having a good day. I said, we only got one place we're probably guaranteed to get a fish. We caught 7 fish out of that hole. And the biggest was probably 40 pounds, smallest 20 pounds. And it's size-wise, you could probably park 3 vehicles in that area. That's as big as the hole is.
Jeez.
Wow.
It's just very... People that's lived out there for years, like when Chase, he grew up out there. He went noodling with us a couple of years ago. I told him where he's going. He said, "You ain't going to catch nothing out of here." And there's a tractor tire laying in there. And I caught a 42-pound flathead out of that tractor tire.
See, and that's funny because out here on the Shenandoah, that's one of my go-tos. If I see old car tires or tractor tires laying along the bank of the river, that's where I'm putting in.
You know what really pisses you off, though? When you got them old car bodies and them fucking fish, they roll that window up and you can't get to them.
Touche, old friend, touche.
There's some people who believe that.
Some people are probably still wondering what you're talking about.
That's hilarious. I love it.
Oh
Them
man,
fish rolled that window up on me.
I look forward to that. That's got to be so much fun. It really does.
You know-
I mean, it's a skittish thing though. It's something you like in the back of your mind. You're like, nah, no way. I ain't putting my hand in nothing.
Until you do it one time, and then it's just plumb addicting.
I'll be
I saw
afraid of getting my. Ooh, go ahead.
Big Chuck, this buddy I was telling you about, he only went with us one or 2 years, but we're going down Skeleton Creek, and I'm walking down. You very seldom get bit by a fish, right? Well, I walked by this deal. Water's pretty murky. You couldn't see that there was an ice chest underwater right there. And something come out and hit my foot. I said, "Chuck, get back here." I said, "There's one in here for you." He didn't even get his hand in the water, and that fish come up there and hit him. It was so funny to watch that big son of a bitch.
No kidding.
It was like a little girl. "That fish bit me." No, he said there's a turtle in there is what he said. I knew it wasn't a turtle because he bit my foot.
I foresee this being the future of Trev come next May.
Oh, dude, you'll love it. And we'll have some new places. Most of the places we got, other people don't really go to because we go to the unorthodox places, I guess you'd say. Most people don't go to creeks because they stink, smell like sewers and shit, but them big fish like it.
Oh,
They
yeah.
hold them there. Absolutely. So, Matt, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you and anything that you want to leave everybody with?
Hey, our website, we've got a pretty good web store, out on a limb, mfg.com. My phone number is on my Facebook page. It's on my website. Anyone that has questions, my business phone is my cell phone. You don't know how many people I'll answer the phone. They say, "Is this Matt?" I say, "Yeah." I say, "Man, don't you own the company?" "Yeah." "Well, I didn't figure you'd answer the phone." "Well, when there's just 2 of you, one of you got to answer, and it's my cell phone, so I'm going to answer it.
There you
I
go.
give Chase's number out a lot now, but it's nice to talk to people, and my conversation might last 30 minutes to an hour with just a stranger that wants to know a little bit about our products.
Right.
I try to treat everybody the same. I've had a couple. We had a little deal day before yesterday, I think. Someone was kind of bashing us about our customer service wasn't very good, and I read that, and I said, "I don't know who you talk to, but I don't think you can find a better customer service than what we got."
No way. So, Matt, I gotta ask, and it's a question we ask a lot here: is what drives you outdoors?
What drives the outdoors?
What drives you outdoors?
What drives me outdoors? Dude, I just live for it. I love it. That's all I do. I mean, I'm very blessed to be able to do what I love every day. I mean, yeah, it's a hard job, 7 days a week. Since ATA, say it was January 6th, I think, I took Easter Sunday off, and I took a Saturday off the other day because we had a party at the house. And we've been starting Saturday nights. I built an outdoor movie theater at my house around my pool, my whole backyard. I don't know if you've seen some of my live videos, but it's all concrete, big 42-foot long pool, and I built an outdoor movie theater. I built it all myself, built the house myself. It's just cool to entertain. It's Jason's studio, he would say.
It's nothing better than that, man. And I love that you're living your dream and you're being so innovative and you're bringing so many great things to the table. And it's great to see and the success and how you've grown and the things that you're coming up with and how the success is now handed down to everybody who's buying these products and using them every day.
Yep, and we just appreciate our patrons, I guess you'd say. I never in a million years after the 5 years previous that I've had. I mean, I was literally ready to quit a little over a year ago before we stepped into the saddle market. I mean, it didn't pay the bills. I've never taken a check out of my company. It was just something for me to do, something for me to do with my time. And I just, like I say, I love what I do.
Definitely. Well, Matt, we can't thank you enough for joining us. And
I appreciate it.
The information, the stories, the conversation. I mean, it's one in a million. It's just, it's all unique, and that's what we really love about it. You're bringing a different perspective to the industry. You're doing things different. You're seeing issues and addressing them in the saddle hunt community as well as the tree stand community. And that's really what's going to keep driving this thing forward, driving the industry forward. And, man, we just hope you keep it up. We will go ahead.
I'd like to say one other thing, and it's kind of came the last 2 years. There's been a lot of division in the hunting industry, and I'm so against that. I actually, when I do my live broadcast, I'll throw in people that I think they despise me by the way they treat me and things like that. But there's still options for the hunters. So I'm not asking people just to buy my stuff. There's plenty of different variety of things out there from other companies, and it's to each their own, whatever they like. I'm not going to beg people to buy my product, especially if it's not their style. And that's what's so nice about having so many different companies around. You got the freedom to choose what you want. It's America.
Absolutely. I think it's very well said. And that's one thing I do want to point out. We've been pushing that from the get-go is find the gear and equipment that matches you, your needs, and your style, and learn it. It's It's one thing to get equipment because a buddy said it's good. It's another thing to get equipment because it fits you and you learn it and it works. And that's one thing that's been really cool. Getting to know you, seeing your products, seeing your changes over the years is you go, okay, this is what people are looking for. How can I address that? And you're meeting that need. So we want to thank you for that, man. Greatly appreciate it, Matt.
And I appreciate you guys bringing me on.
Anytime.
It won't be the last time.
No.
It's going to be in Birmingham by chance, either of you?
I don't think we'll be at Birmingham this year.
Okay. That's the next show that I know of coming up. We got Birmingham. Columbus, Ohio is going to come back, I think, in August. And then we'll be in Houston at the Texas Trophy Hunters. So come out and see us.
Absolutely. Go out and see them for sure. I don't know if we'll be able to make it. The summer's kind of the tough kind of thing for us, and we're getting ready for deer season. I'm on the fishing boat, so things are a little tough for the shows in the summer.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, it's that crazy world that we've been living in the last few months has kind of put a skew to everything. But as soon as we have everything lined up, we're all going to get together. If nothing else, I'm going to drag Trev down there come next May, and I'm going to let him get a fistful of cat. And we're going to all laugh and enjoy and have a good time over that. But again, thank you for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. And for all the listeners out there, please reach out, check out Matt, check out on a Limb. The products are incredible. Until you get hands-on, you really don't comprehend how innovative this stuff is. And until you go out and do that, we want to thank you guys for taking the ride right here on the Outdoor Drive.